The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, a story of courage, hope, and humanity. Hello and welcome to English Philosophy, your destination for deep dives into the most powerful books that inspire, educate, and uplift us. I'm your host, and today we are exploring one of the most remarkable and moving books ever written, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. This book is not just a diary. It's a voice of hope in the darkest of times. It's a record of a young girl's growth, her fears, her dreams, and her indomitable spirit during one of the most tragic periods in human history, the Holocaust. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the wisdom, the pain, and the enduring lessons from Anne Frank's diary. 1. Who was Anne Frank? Anne Frank was born on 12 June 1929, in Frankfurt, Germany, to a Jewish family. In 1933, the Franks moved to the Netherlands to escape the growing Nazi threat in Germany. But in 1940, the Nazis invaded the Netherlands, and soon after, Jews began to face severe persecution. In July 1942, Anne and her family went into hiding in a secret annex behind her father's office building in Amsterdam. They remained hidden for over 2 years. During this time, Anne kept a diary, a deeply personal, honest, and insightful account of her life, thoughts, and emotions. 2. The Secret Annex. Life in hiding. The diary begins on Anne's 13th birthday, when she receives a red and white checkered diary. Over the next 2 years, she documents her life in hiding, the cramped quarters, the daily routines, the constant fear of discovery. The annex housed 8 people: Anne's family of 4, another Jewish family, the Van Daans, and a dentist named Mr. Dussel. Privacy was scarce. Tensions ran high. But what's extraordinary is how Anne never let fear control her spirit. Her entries are filled with curiosity, reflection, and surprisingly, humor. Despite everything, she found joy in small things: a glimpse of the outside world through a window, a new book, a friendly conversation. 3. Anne's personal growth and introspection. Anne began her diary as a young teenager, but through its pages, we see her maturity bloom. She writes about her changing body, her complex relationship with her mother, her growing feelings for Peter, the Van Daan's son, and most importantly, her developing sense of identity. She questioned the world around her, wrote about her goals of becoming a writer, and shared profound thoughts on humanity, suffering, and hope. One of the most powerful lines in the book is, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." Imagine writing that while living in fear, hiding from a regime that wanted to erase your existence. 4. Lessons on resilience and positivity. Anne Frank teaches us that we can choose how we respond to suffering. Even when everything is taken from us, our home, freedom, and security, our spirit can remain strong. She turned to writing as her form of resistance and therapy. Her diary became her best friend, whom she called Kitty. She confided in it, trusted it, and used it to make sense of her world. Here's another quote that reflects her resilience: "I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains." This mindset, choosing to see beauty amidst despair, is something we can all learn from. 5. Motivational thoughts from Anne's diary. Let's now focus on some motivational thoughts from the diary that still hold relevance today. On self-worth, everyone has inside of him a piece of good news. The good news is that you don't know how great you can be, what you can accomplish, and what your potential is. On purpose, I want to go on living even after my death. And that's why I'm grateful to God for giving me this gift, this possibility of developing myself and of writing, of expressing all that is in me. On identity and integrity, people can tell you to keep your mouth shut, but that doesn't stop you from having your own opinion. These are words of wisdom from a teenage girl, spoken with the clarity and courage of someone far beyond her years. 6. The tragic end and the legacy that lives on. In August 1944, the annex was raided. The Frank family and others were arrested and eventually deported to Auschwitz. Anne and her sister Margot were later transferred to Bergen-Belsen, where they died of typhus in early 1945, just weeks before the camp was liberated. Otto Frank, Anne's father, was the only survivor. After the war, he discovered Anne's diary, and in 1947, he published it. The world was introduced to the thoughts and heart of Anne Frank. Since then, the diary has been translated into over 70 languages and has sold more than 30 million copies. It remains a symbol of the human cost of hatred and the enduring power of hope. 7. Why is Anne Frank's diary still relevant today? Anne's diary is a reminder of what happens when intolerance and bigotry go unchecked. But more than that, it's a celebration of human resilience and the importance of compassion. In today's world, where divisions still exist, Anne's message is as relevant as ever. She reminds us to speak up for the voiceless, to appreciate freedom, and to never underestimate the power of writing, education, and empathy. 8. Reflections for today's generation. For students, teachers, parents, and leaders, and story teachers, never take peace or freedom for granted. Believe in your voice and the power of expression. Don't let the fear of the world rob you of your dreams. In your toughest moments, think of a young girl who believed in the goodness of people, even as the world crumbled around her. Anne Frank's The Diary of a Young Girl is not just a book. It's a life lesson, a mirror, a light in the dark. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend you do. And if you have read it again, you'll find something new each time. Thank you for listening to English Philosophy. If this podcast inspired you, don't forget to follow, share, and leave us a review. Let's keep spreading the power of knowledge and humanity. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember the words of Anne Frank. How wonderful it is that nobody needs to wait a single moment before starting to improve the world.